Welcome to Loxahatchee Everglades Tours. If you've never been out to the Glades, you've got a real adventure ahead. The Everglades is constantly changing, day to day, moment to moment. So even if you have been out here, come with us now and see it again for the first time. This is an anhinga. This one's a female. You can tell by the brown neck. The male's necks are black like the body feathers. They're diving birds, and some people call them the snake bird because unlike other diving birds, they don't have oil gland secretions to help them float. So when they're in the water, all you see is just that jerky neck. So they do look just like snakes. Most of us out here have been fooled more than once. Here comes a guy that needs no introduction. When most people think about the Everglades, the alligator is the first animal that comes to mind. And there are plenty of them out here. They were once mistakenly placed on the endangered species list, but their population's in great shape. They're well adapted to survival. They've been around since the dinosaur era, so they must be doing something right. And this bird, the great blue heron, was almost hunted to extinction in the 1920s to make those feathered hats women used to wear. But they've made a great comeback, and we see a lot of them out here, catching fish with that quick, sharp beak. Now watch this little trick. It looks like we're moving over dry land, doesn't it? But actually, this stuff is a floating plant called water hyacinth. It's an exotic, and that means it's not native to the Everglades. It's one of the many problems we're having out here. It grows and spreads faster than we can stop it, and it's choking off the water flow. This area right here is just about as perfect and unspoiled as it gets. This is all natural vegetation. The plant with the pointed leaves and the little white flowers is called arrowroot. Watching our guide down there looking for apple snails, which we'll talk about a little later, you may wonder why he's not worried about gators. The truth is that alligators out in the wild are scared of people. Unless you accidentally come up on a female guarding her nest, and that can get a little ugly. Basically, gators out here run from you. Nevertheless, there are things in that water that can be hazardous to your health. Moccasins can bite you, sawgrass can cut you, but Lyle here knows how to look out for himself. Let's talk about two trees, a good guy and a bad guy. This first one is a friend of the Everglades, the primrose willow. They're native to the glades. They've been out here for hundreds of years, and they're the only trees officially protected by the state. It may be a little shorter than the willows you're used to seeing, but that's how they grow out here. What you may not know is that this is the tree that gave us aspirin. Now, of course, aspirin is synthesized in laboratories, but originally they got it from these trees right here, the primrose willow. This is the Melaleuca tree. Back at the turn of the century, the state of Florida wanted more farmland, more room to build homes, and the Everglades stood in the way. So they brought this horrible tree over from Australia to drain the wetlands, and it's slowly doing just that. It drinks up 200 to 250 gallons of water a day, and the scariest thing about it is we don't know how to kill it. If you try and chop this tree down or burn it, as it starts to die, it throws out thousands of seeds. They take and grow, and we're infested with them now. This little bird's called a common gallinule or marsh hen. This one's an immature. When she's older, her beak will get bright red. They love walking on these lily pads. Take a good look at this bird, because the tragic truth is we may not be able to see them very much longer. This is the Everglades snail kite, and it's headed for extinction. At the last census, there were only 800 left. To understand why, try to imagine that your mouth and stomach were designed to let you eat nothing but one thing, pretzels, let's say. Then one day they simply stopped making pretzels. The snail kite has a beak that is uniquely shaped to fit into the shell of a little animal called the apple snail. That's all it can eat. But due to man's interference with the balance of nature out here, the snails are dying off. These little white clusters on the cattail stalks are the apple snail eggs. Because of problems with changing water levels, lots of these eggs are being drowned before they even hatch. Nature used to control the water levels. Now it's man with his canals and spillways. When they need more water to irrigate the nearby farms, they'll just pour more water in and kill the eggs. But even if the eggs hatch, at times the restricted water flow creates too much heat and kills them that way. This is what the shells look like. You can see the small hole in this one where the snail kite's beak pierced through it. Another great blue heron, they can stand over 4 feet with a wingspan of close to 6, and that's a tricolored heron there. Well, it's been nice having you with us. Please come back and see us again. The Everglades is always changing, always a little bit different than it was the day before, and we're always here ready to show it to you. See you next time.